Apologies for the lack of videos recently. I was planning to do so many different things over the Christmas period. I had a nice long break, but then unfortunately both myself and my partner were quite ill over Christmas, and this is the first time we've really been able to venture out anywhere. Today I visited Tanworth-in-Arden, which is in Warwickshire, about 40 minutes from where I live. As you can see from the video, it's an absolutely stunning little village. I visited here for the first time almost exactly a year ago to the day before I started this YouTube channel, as it's the childhood home and resting place of one of my favourite musicians, Nick Drake. I was first introduced to the music of Nick Drake around 20 years ago when a good friend of mine bought me a copy of Way to Blue, an introduction to Nick Drake on CD for Christmas. And I've been captivated by not only the music, of course, but also by the man himself ever since, really. Nicholas Rodney Drake was born in Rangoon, Burma on the 19th of June 1948. His father, Rodney Shuttleworth Drake, worked for the Bombay Burma Trading Corporation, and his mother, Molly Lloyd, was the daughter of a senior member of the Indian Civil Service. In 1950, the family, including Nick's older sister Gabrielle, who went on to become a successful TV and stage actress, moved back to England to live in Farley's house, which you can see on screen at the moment. I'm sure you'll notice that there's a blue plaque on the front of the house in honour of Nick. At school, Nick was a keen sportsman and was also appointed house captain as well. Nick's mother Molly was a keen musician herself, and naturally an influence on her son as well. But whilst at school, Nick played piano in the school orchestra, and he also learned the clarinet and saxophone. In around 1964, he formed a band with 4 of his schoolmates called the Perfumed Gardeners. It was also around this time that Nick purchased his first acoustic guitar, a Levin, which he bought for £13. And it wasn't long before he was experimenting with open tunings and finger-picking techniques. In 1966, Nick won a scholarship to Fitzwilliam College in Cambridge. He delayed his attendance so that he could spend 6 months attending a university in Marseille. This is where Nick really began to hone his guitar skills and also experiment with cannabis. When Nick returned to England in 1967, he moved into his sister's flat in Hampstead in London. And then in October he took up his place at Fitzwilliam College in Cambridge. In early 1968, while still a student at Cambridge, Nick was offered a management, publishing and production contract after American producer Joe Boyd heard a home recording Nick had made. In 1969, Nick's debut album, 5 Leaves Left, was released on Island Records. The album received mixed reviews and sold poorly, partly due to Nick's reluctance to perform live or to do any interviews to publicise the release. Nick released 2 further studio albums, 1971's Brighter Later and 1972's Pink Moon. Both albums sold poorly and Nick became disillusioned with his lack of success. Following the release of Pink Moon and Nick becoming disillusioned with music, he returned to the family home in Tanworth-in-Arden. On the 25th of November 1974, Nick died at his family home after overdosing on prescription antidepressants. Nick was just 26 years old at the time of his death. Despite Nick being known in musical circles, his music didn't really achieve any commercial success until several years after his death, late 70s, early 80s really. In the intervening years, Nick's popularity has continued to grow steadily, and he is now cited by many musicians as an influence, and his back catalogue has been discovered by subsequent generations. The mystique around Nick and his beautiful, timeless music, I'm sure, will continue to grow and increase his popularity. I think Nick's own prophetic words sum it up best. Fame is but a fruit tree, so very unsound, it can never flourish till its stock is in the ground. So men of fame can never find a way, till time has flown far from their dying day. Forgotten while you're here, remembered for a while, a much updated ruin from a much outdated style. Life is but a memory, happened long ago, theatre full of sadness for a long forgotten show. Seems so easy just to let it go on by, till you stop and wonder why you never wondered why.